JFD, just fair and direct.
Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD Traders Espresso with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 10th of September 2020, so yep, welcome everyone. Welcome to this Thursday's morning session where we're going to have a very quick look at the markets. A few of the charts, the usual stuff basically, but before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. I'll give you a few seconds to read the rest and we can continue. Okay, so now then, also just before we jump into the charts, quick mentioning of our JFD YouTube channel, to which you can always subscribe to in order not to miss any of our upcoming videos. And of course our JFD Bank website and specifically our JFD research page, which we also update on a daily basis. So yep, feel free to visit us here on jfdbank.com and click on the research tab right there on the top. So now then, quick update here on Nikkei. So I keep talking about this one, and basically what I was saying, that as long as it can stay still above this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 10th of June, there is still a chance for this index to kind of go back up again. You can see we have a nice island reversal here on the daily chart, so basically everything's kind of for now leaning a little bit more to the upside. However, as I've mentioned to you guys previously, to get a little bit more excited maybe with higher levels, ideally a push back above the 23,339 zone right here could do the trick for more buyers. So that's why be very careful. For now, yes, it is, like I said, it is trying to make its way up again, but just for that extra confirmation, let's wait for that push above the 23,339 zone, and of course ideally a nice daily close above that area could do the trick for more buyers. Jumping into Shanghai Composite, and this one is slightly, well, fractionally in the positive territory. Of course, as you can see, it still is trading below this 3,307 zone. So basically, it seems that not all is good here on the Shanghai Composite. So in a way, given that Nikkei is showing good signs here, and today Shanghai Composite is trading slightly in the positive zone, we will be very careful here. Of course, previously, as I've mentioned to you guys, that if we see a drop below this 3,307 zone, then lower levels could be met. Maybe we could drive this one all the way here towards this 3,181 zone marked near the low of the 17th of July and the 27th of July. But again, yeah, for now it seems that the bulls are fighting. So how you could play this one out is, for example, if we see a drop below the low of 9th of September, which is yesterday, the low of yesterday below the 3,239 territory, roughly around here. If we get a nice drop below this, this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and yep, this is where it could open the door towards this area that this highlighted area right here, the one that I talked about, this 3,181 zone. Just like I said, just to be on the safe side, because like I said, for now, on one hand, yesterday we saw the European equities recovering, and Nikkei this morning has shown a bit of strength here, but as you can see here, the Shanghai Composite is not the strongest one, and for now, like I said, I'll keep an eye on this one. In a way, if you want to look at some higher levels, basically, probably I wait for a move back above the 3,307 territory right here, and then yes, we could maybe consider a move up again, but for now it probably will take a bit of a cautious approach here. Now this is where I'm jumping into German DAX, and yep, I kept talking about this index over the past kind of, well, basically in all my previous videos, but I kept talking about this short-term upside support line taken from the low of the 15th of June, and as you can see right now, I mean, the index is well, is still balancing above it. So after we had a test of this upside line, I was telling you guys to keep an eye on it, because if it remains intact, we could see this one pushing higher again, especially if the price travels above the 21-day EMA. And for now, it seems that there is a possibility for this one to move higher. However, ideally, as I mentioned to you previously as well, a push above the 13,314 zone, somewhere around here, could do the trick for more buyers. Currently, the cash index is sitting just somewhere around the 13,300 zone, maybe just fractionally below it. So basically, we're very close right now on the cash index here. So let's see how the market is going to open up today. But there is a possibility we could see a nice pop here, and if so, then yep, higher levels could be met, guys. And the next target here could be that highest point of February near the 13,795 zone. So keep your eyes on that one. Jumping into gold, and gold is very confusing, I would say, because first of all, we can see that gold is trying to get back above this upside line, and currently it succeeds in doing that. But as I mentioned to you previously, guys, ideally I would like to see a push about at least above the 1950 zone here before, let's say, starting to consider higher levels again. At the moment, it seems that it's struggling with this barrier. So let's not rush into anything yet here. But even with the downside, I cannot really talk about the downside until I see a nice drop here below this 1901 zone, and then yes, lower levels could be met. But at the moment, it's not really happening here. So for now, probably we'll just be very careful and take a neutral stand and just wait for either a break above the 1950 zone, or maybe a nice drop back below the not back below but a drop below the 1901 zone here. Now, WTI oil. Now, if you remember yesterday, I talked about this idea of saying a bit of a correction here, and of maybe going towards this 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci. And to be honest, still this idea remains valid, because as you can see, although yesterday we had a bit of a correction here to the upside, still the price remains below this the level right here, the low of the 30th of July that I talked about previously, and that's the low of the and that's the as I said, the low of the 30th of July, which is near the 38.74 mark. And as long as the price is going to stay below this area, then there is still a good chance we could see this one dropping here towards that 23.6% retracement on the Fibonacci, or this low of the 15th of June near the 34.38 zone. So keep your eyes on this one. Still, not all is lost here for the bears, especially if the commodity remains below this 38.74 zone. If it climbs back above it, then well, this is where we'll be very careful, because there could be a possibility for this one to move higher again, maybe back towards this 43.75 zone, or even going further north. But all this area right here above the 38.74 zone and below the 43.75 territory, all this one right here will be a bit of a tricky one, because don't get me wrong, I mean, the commodity could travel higher, find resistance near the 200-day EMA, and then reverse back to the downside. So that's why ideally the upside scenario here could come on a break of the 43.75 zone right here. Now, Ethereum. Ethereum is reversing. It's trying to make its way up again. It seems that it's succeeding for now. However, it's getting a hold up near the lows of the 25th of August and the 27th of August, and also the low of the 3rd of September, and that's roughly around the 370 zone right here. So this is where the current holdup is occurring, although we did get a bit of an overshoot here this morning. But for now, we're keeping an eye on this, because if this 370 zone continues to provide resistance, or if this 21-day EMA continues to do that, then well, I mean, we could see something like this happening, where the crypto could reverse back down here and maybe end up moving finally moving towards this medium-term upside support line taken from the low of the 13th of March. So again, for now, we are, like I said, at a very interesting spot. It is pushing higher, but it's currently getting a hold up near this 370 zone. So let's see if this area here can provide resistance. Now, in terms of the upside, I would prefer to see a push back above this 411 territory, somewhere around here, and then aim for some higher levels. Until then, all this area right here could be a bit of a neutral one, so that's why, guys, for now it's all eyes are on the 21-day EMA and this 370 territory. If all this provides good resistance, then yep, another round of selling here could be possible. Jumping into AUD, AUSD, so going into a few pairs now. So as you can see, this pair managed to move back above this short-term tentative upside support line taken from the low the 30th of June. So in a way, as I mentioned to you previously, that in order to aim for some lower levels, not only that we would need to see a break of this upside line, but also a drop below this 0.7136 territory right here, which is marked by the low the 20th of August. But as you can see, the drop never the move towards that area never happened, and instead the pair just started reversing back to the upside. So now I'm going to keep an eye on this 0.7295 territory, which previously acted as a good area of resistance and also acted as a good area of resistance here in January. Let me just zoom in here a little bit, and that was in January, and the end of January, the 31st of January 2019, that area acted as a good good resistance. And recently, as you can see, for example, last week, in the end of last week, it did also the same trick. So if we get a strong move above this area, above the 0.7295 zone, and we see the daily candle remaining above this area, above this barrier, then yep, we could maybe consider a possible move towards this the current highest point of September near the 0.7413 mark. USD CHF, quick update here. So everything's working out nicely according to what I was talking about in the beginning of this week, where I was saying that keep your eyes on this short-term downside resistance line taken from the high of the 28th of May. As you can see, this downside line did act as a good resistance once again, and the rate is now declining. And yesterday in my Traders Tea Time, I was talking about this, where I was saying that keep your eyes on the 21-day EMA as well, because in a way, if it drops below this, then lower levels could be met, especially if the rate starts sliding below the 0.9072 zone. If it does that, then we could start looking at this 0.9010 level or even below that. Now, in order to consider the upside, we would now like to see, of course, a break of this downside line. That's first of all. But given that yesterday I talked about this level, the 0.9241-42 zone, probably now it would be enough if we get a break above this 0.9184 territory. So if we get a push above that, then, or even actually better, let me just reiterate that a little bit. The high of the 12th of August right here, which also kind of marks the current highest point of this week near the 0.9198 level. So a nice good pop above that, yep, could open the door towards higher levels. So this will just mark this right here, and the 0.9198 zone, that's what we would be looking for in order to consider a move higher. But for now, it seems that the upside could be slightly off the table for this pair. Now for USDJPY, this one is struggling, and although it's still balancing above this 106 territory, it keeps on oscillating around it, and also keeps oscillating around its 21-day EMA. So in other words, for now, basically it's a bit of a tricky one. So of course, on the bright side, the fact that it's still trading above this 21-day EMA, yes, still gives a bit of hope here for the buyers. They could drive this one a little bit north here towards the 107 zone, or this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 24th of March. But for now, again, it's a bit of a tricky one here. Let me just actually get rid of this 106 zone. Actually, I'm going to keep it, but what I wanted to show you here, guys, as well, I mean, in order to kind of maybe make your life a little bit easier, so if we get a drop back below this 105.79 territory right here, marked by the low of yesterday, or in other words, the current lowest point of this week. If we get a drop below this, then we could then consider a possible move towards this key area of support, which kind of did provide a decent hold up here in throughout the whole August, almost throughout the whole August, and that level is the 105.30 zone. So a nice good drop below this area, below the low, the current low of this week, could open the door towards this 105.30 zone. But the fact, like I said, the fact that it's still managing to balance above this 21-day EMA, so this kind of keeps the bulls on their toes still. For now, basically, we would like to maybe wait for a push above this 106.38 territory, which is the current highest point of this week, and a nice good pop above it, yep, may open the door towards that 107 zone or towards that downside line. Now, GBPAUD, I've looked at this one last week, and basically I was telling you guys to keep an eye on these two levels here, the 1.8070 zone on the downside and the 1.8412 on the upside. Now, you can see that we got a nice break here through that lower level. And in a way, what I was saying, that if we get a drop below that, this might open the door towards the lowest point of July, near the 1.7696 territory. Now, of course, we could round it up towards the 1.77. We can actually do that, but at the moment, nevertheless, still remains the fact stays the same, that there is a possibility for this one to move further down here towards this 1.77 zone, and if that provides support, then yep, that's great. This is where the bulls could jump in again, but if it breaks, now this is where more sellers could be joining in, because this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and then the path could be open towards this lowest point of July of 2019 near the 1.7562 zone. So again, for now, we are leaning here a little bit more to the downside on this pair. Initially, I'll aim for this 1.77 zone, and then we'll take it from there, because if that gets broken, then yes, of course, like I said, this would confirm a forthcoming lower low, and lower levels could be met. In terms of the upside, preferably a move back of the 1.8070 zone here maybe could do the trick, but also keep your eyes on this little, probably short-term, well, not probably, but short-term tentative and downside resistance line taken from the high of the 21st of August, and if that gets broken, then yes, we could start maybe looking at some higher levels again. But at the moment, it seems that the upside could be slightly off the table. And finally, EURUSD. So this pair is moving nicely this morning, moving nicely back above this 1.1815 level that I talked about. Basically, yesterday we had a nice rebound from this upside line, and in a way now there is potential for this one to move higher, especially if it continues to trade above this 1.1815 zone, above this 21-day EMA as well. So yep, if the rate continues to balance above that area, then there's a good chance we could see this one, this pair moving back towards this 1.1965, or even that psychological 1.20 zone. So for now, yes, of course, continue. Like I said, for now, I'm going to be a little bit more on the bullish side. And of course, like I said, for now I'm going to be targeting this 1.1965 zone. Of course, don't get me wrong, today we do have the ECB interest rate decision, then followed by the ECB press conference later on. So we might get a few swings here, so that's why be very careful. Probably don't try to trade during that time. Check out the economic calendar for that, the time of that, and yeah, guys, be very careful with the euro dollar today. If by any chance this pair suddenly breaks this medium term upside support line and drops below the 1.1725 zone, well, this is where it could turn out to be a little bit more ugly for the buyers, as this may increase the chances for this pair to move further south. So that's why, again, be very careful today. Keep an eye on the ECB, and don't overtrade, don't try to and probably try to stay away during all the announcements and the press conference, then we can see at least what the pair wants to do, and then we could take it from there. So guys, just to let you know that tomorrow there won't be any Traders Espresso nor tea time. I will resume on Monday, yeah guys, I hope you can join me later on my Traders tea time today at 13:15 GMT. But for now guys, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, stay safe, be careful, and I'll see you later. Thank you very much, and bye-bye.